Welcome back, lovely loves. I wanted to go ahead and try to batch do it because I really want to try to start making more videos for you guys. I think it's helpful because technically usually do this type of thing while listening to other YouTube videos. So I'm thinking I need to start making some of my own because everybody has their own unique way of doing things. And there are some things that I feel like I do that maybe could help someone else in the future as well. So it'd be nice to be able to help someone out on their homeschooling journey or just organizational journey, honestly. So another thing that I do, so once like the previous video, we kind of talked about how I went about blocking everything out. And I think that was, I'll go back to that screen really quick. It was this screen, and it was the one where I talked about, it's kind of the one where I take my kids and I say, what do you want to learn about? And then they tell me, oh, I want to learn about zoology, or oh, I want to learn about fairy tales, um, or oh, I want to know why we do the things we do, which is like psychology. So that's kind of where that comes from. And then some of it obviously comes from things that they just need to know, like history and government. It's not necessarily something they asked me about specifically, but it's something that I decided to teach to them. So after we do all that, then we will go into, or what I like to do is I like to have a plan, kind of like a block schedule, meaning these are the things that we normally do on these days, so to speak. And that's just a way to organize my time and energy because we don't do everything every day. We're not that type of family. We're the type of family where, I mean, we do almost read every day. I will say that, but the reading varies on maybe what types of things we're reading or what have you. So, what I like to do and what I learned, I think this was from simply Charlotte Mason that talked about how you kind of make a card of all the things you have and then you kind of organize it out on the days that you need it. And then it's always like, what's that one thing? And I think it was probably Read Aloud Revival or it was The Brave Writer. I'm not sure which one of them where they talk about one thing. And like, so that's why I have these little fire things like by these different blocks here because and technically this shouldn't even have it. Let me take that off because this doesn't need to be there. But so it's basically like the one thing that we do this day. So like on Mondays, the one thing that I need to make sure we do is math. Like, and technically it's either me looking at their math more, like what they've been going over, making sure that they are on track, and also we do Life of Fred on Mondays. And then this is all the other stuff that I do on Mondays. So I also would like to do our unit study. I also want to do our art study. I also, and this is art composer, I also want to do vocabulary. I also want to read aloud. But if all those things don't get done, and I just get the bare minimum of like our morning work, which isn't really on here, but we'll talk about that in another video, and one thing, it would be this one thing. And so on Tuesday, this one thing is history and a unit study. So I kind of have two things, but technically, the history one, it's either or. So, like, if I only do history one day, that's fine. I'd really like to do it 2 days and I'd plan everything for 2 days. But life happens and sometimes things don't work the way you want them to. And so we definitely always have to get a read aloud done at least one day, like out of the week where we're doing it. Technically, I'd like to do it 2 days because I have it here too and I have it here. But this is the one day where, like, if nothing else gets done, it gets done then. If nothing else gets done on this day, then this gets done in history. Technically, Tuesdays is our library day. So I kind of have these two here because if we're having a regular Tuesday, they'll be able to, at the very bare minimum, get these two things done at the library when we go there. But anyway, and then Thursday, I have co op, which technically doesn't start as soon as our homeschool year starts, and it doesn't actually end either when our homeschool year ends. And we have a longer break and whatnot. So these are kind of the other things that we do. At the bottom here, too, I have the things for my toddler. So these ones at the very bottom are for my toddler. And then on Friday is kind of like a catch-up day. It's a catch-up day, it's a loop day, or it's a game day, depending. Loops meaning maybe there's some things I really wanted to do that we haven't done, but I've actually kind of put things into our morning work where I shouldn't really necessarily need loops anymore. So let me take the loops out. Let me take that word out and just put catch up. Okay. Okay, so that's kind of how I go about the beginning part of it. Now, how do I get the day to day? And I actually had watched different Notion videos to get this. And what I do is, let me bring up my numbers. So I will start off, and what I'll do is, so let's say this is like the winter. I have the dates. I put all of them. So this is on a spreadsheet. And so I put all those loops that we just talked about, right? Where we're talking about the different, the different blocks. And so, and I put them all on a date. So like, these are the 4 for Monday, or the 5 for Monday. These are the 5 for Tuesday. These are the, and so, and then what I do is I put, well, what are we reading from? What week is it? Because I number all of my weeks, because this one actually goes down to, this is all the way through week 13. So the way I'm doing it now, and this is the best way to work for me, is I do 13 weeks and then I have our break, which I kind of do that by hand. And I can show you my hand planning another day, because I actually do it on a Samsung Galaxy tablet. I don't actually use paper. I use paper a little bit, but only for like very initial things. Sometimes I just like to get on a piece of paper, but it's, for the most part, everything is done here on the screens on Notion, or on my Galaxy tablet, which I have a planner on there. That's really cool. So anyhow, so I'll go through here, and this is kind of like me just going through everything and saying, okay, what are my kids doing? And I have a section in here for, you know what, maybe I don't have a section for Ace anymore. I think I took him out of this. Yeah, I have him separate. But so I have a section for, and what I do when I'm actually going in and planning this is I will filter out all of the history ones. So then what I do is I go into the history book and I say, like, for instance, we're doing government, what chapter, what's on that chapter for that day. So what should we be doing? What might we need on that day based off of the chapter? So this takes me probably a couple hours, especially, and technically I just did through government. I don't think I started the history. So what I'll normally do, let me see. Well, I guess I did go through all of it. I think the government actually goes through the 13 weeks. So technically, if we're doing it twice a week, which I have us doing it twice a week, we'll be still doing it through the end of the year. I guess I go through, I put the chapters. Zoology, I think I do have us ending it earlier. So I put kind of like, where should we be reading? What is it that we, what could we be doing? That kind of thing during this time. I think this might be the end of it. So and I have the writing in there too. So like writing and rhetoric, that kind of thing. So anyway, I take all this, and then this is all on a spreadsheet, and it gets uploaded into Notion. And when it gets uploaded into Notion, it gets put into the agenda. So if you go here, you can see the full database. So we can look at the full database. So this is basically that same database. But what I've done is it'll color code the different days of the week, and it has like the week 1 here, and then each one is its own card. So it's here all the way through. So this goes all the way down to the same thing that we did all the way through 13. It's kind of out of order the way it looks on here, but part of it is because I went through and I added some other things, so it updated it a little differently. But once you're in the once you have it filtered by the week, and then you have the days of the week, or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So then it'll say, okay, well, we're on week 12, but let's go to week 1. So go to week 1, like we filter it from week 1. This will be August 26th. This will be our first day of school. Technically, we may go a little bit before, but this will be the first day that we're starting our regular curriculum, and we're not just like looking at things from last year and talking about what we're going to be doing this year. So anyhow, so we'll be doing so I have it listed here, the different things that we're working on. And what I do now is I do a checklist. And this is kind of related to the next video I'm going to do, because I need to end this video. We've been talking for some time now. So we'll do a checklist of the different things we'd like to have done this day. And it's not necessarily related to the star thing. So the star thing for Mondays is math. So it still has a star on it. Like it's still got the star. I did it on the other way as well. And this is the unit study day. But technically it's also history, and it's also history with timelines on Wednesdays. And we have a read aloud. That's a important thing. So technically these two for this day, and then this for this day. And then Thursdays is technically our co-op day, and Fridays is like, what do we still need to do? Can we catch up on anything? Can we loop anything? And I do also try to have them do a writing project on Fridays as well. So I may write this in later, like, oh, what's the writing project for the week? And I also have other things added in here that we can talk about later, where I'm adding in other parts for our morning work, and I put it into the cards for the day, because I don't always put all of the lessons that we're doing in each card. Some of it, it's just like we're reading the next thing and we're doing another curriculum. But there is some of it where it's like I kind of want to have some notes. Like our artist study, I want to have some notes because this is the artist I want to be going over this week. And this is maybe what I want to talk about, even though, I don't know, for whatever reason, I could do that. I could note that. And I could also note how the class went that day too. And there's actually, let me see. Oh, that's not in there. There's one of these where, okay, there's like different templates that I have. And sometimes I used to have a template where it was just like a reflections template, and it had the different kids' names and like if I wanted to write something about them, which I think it might be in one of my older months, because this gets updated every, so for me it's 3 times a year that I have to do this, which really isn't that bad, because I do it beginning of the year, and then I have to do it over the holidays one more time, and then I do it one last time like after, and this is like our spring to end of year time, so it's like usually around March sometime, like right before spring starts, like the middle of March or something. I'll do it one last time, and that will get us through the whole rest of the year. So for me, if I take these large chunks of time to do all this planning, because it does take me probably 5 hours or more to do it all, and I'll go over the rest of it still in another video, but it saves me a lot of time during the year, and I like to do front load planning in that way, because then the rest of the year is like really smooth and easy for me. So thank you so much for listening. Bye.